So over my career, I've edited a lot of different things, newspapers, magazines, assessment test books, corporate proposals, cookbooks, travel guides, sports books, kids books, pet books, all kinds of academic books, art books, memoir, self-help. And what we're mostly talking about today, fiction. Okay, so fiction is my favorite thing, like not just my work favorite thing, but basically my favorite thing. And if we were to get even more specific, my favorite genre is historical fiction. And fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. It feels real, even if it's not real, and even if it couldn't be real, like in the case of a fantasy title. To pull the reader completely into the story on an emotional level, you need to pull off an elaborate lie. So we know the rules so that we know when to break them. I once read a published novel where the main character's love interest had the name Eric with a C the first half of the novel and the name Eric with a K the second half of the novel. This is what I mean about putting a pinprick in the balloon of this imaginary world. It's very distracting. And doing some of these more administrative tasks of creative writing can help build a reliable, trustworthy world. For fantasy writers, making a map of your constructed world, I imagine, is even more fun. I used to do that when I was a kid. Not everything has to show up in the actual writing, but the writing should be more grounded in a real sense of place because you've mapped it out in your imagination. I've heard from a variety of writers, some make a detailed outline of all the plot points before they begin writing, and others have a general idea of what's going to happen and they let their characters. It sounds to me like that the writers who let their characters and their adventures take them along have a really fun time writing, but then have to do a lot of rewriting and don't always get it all cohesive in the end. So that tip about writing backwards, that actually came from my daughter, who writes mysteries
Oh,
backwards.
it's because in your brain, you're like, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's kind of like a recipe. You're doing like a recipe, right? And you're flinging everything in it. It tastes awful. And you're like, why does this taste awful? I used all the things you should have for spaghetti sauce, right? Like, how could I have written this entire book and never noticed this one big problem with this one big character could kill the entire book?
Well,
In
I
your
think
mind, I love the elaborate lie. Can't paint the house you didn't build.
Yeah, we just don't want you to buy all the fancy furniture before you buy a roof and windows because sometimes it rains.
I'm inspired by people who can spin these elaborate lies.